Today I want to talk a little bit about starting scenery. Up to this point, it's been building bench work and laying track work and trying to fix derailments and switches and building bridges. I don't know how it goes, but I'm tired of watching the trains go up and down the skeleton of styrofoam ramps and that. And so, but before I started on the scenery, I needed to make sure that the track is running. And as you can see, the trains always seem to derail and fall apart. And I looked in that back section there, and the track was a little off center. It leaned a little bit. So I got some thin styrene and put it underneath the track and leveled it out, and that seemed to resolve that issue. I tore out the Kato track on my hill because it was going from a code 100 to code 83, which was causing derailments, and have it all code 100 coming up the hill, and that seemed to resolve it. The other issues were the bridges. The track was kind of loose and floated, so dropped cork over it and glued it down. Got this new trestle that I'm putting in, and it's getting glued down, and that will resolve that issue going into the mine. So then I did the hack with the paper clip to try to keep the switches from moving after they're in place. A lot of them didn't have springs or anything to hold it, so that paper clip seems to hold the rail in place after I throw the switch. So I think we've resolved the derailments because of track. Now there's still derailment issues, but that's because of the couplers and the weight of the cars, and that's a whole different issue. But as far as the track causing my derailments, I think I've got that fixed. So I'm ready to do some scenery. Up to this point is what my layout looked like when I was a kid, trying to keep the trains on the track and not derailing. Never did get to scenery. So today we're going to cover the styrofoam. Now, I was telling my dad I was going to do that, and he says, well, you know what I did is I got the chicken wire and paper mache, and I built mountains and tunnels and put the train on it, and then it shorted it all out because the chicken wire underneath it all shorted the whole thing out. So he had to tear it all out, and he never did scenery after that. He says, well, what's important is the train and the destination. And that may be the case. But I've also always wanted to have the scenery. Now, I build models, and I've got model cars and model planes and model ships. So I really wanted to take what I've learned since a kid from my first glue-smeared paint glob models that I produced to something you can be proud of with the craftsman. But we got to start somewhere. And so I've done the research, and I thought about, well, I can do foam buildup and that, or I can do, I heard about doing the cardboard framework and then using some mud that you do for sheetrocking and water it down and run paper towels through it. I thought that sounds like a huge mess. And then I stumbled across the plaster cloth. And so we were shopping out at Michael's, and I found the plaster cloth. Well, this could just be what I need. So I got a cardboard box, cut it down to cardboard sheets, if you will, and then I sliced them into strips. And then I take these strips, and I went around and says, okay, I need to put between the ridges on my framework, and I need it to come from the top down. And so I started building and framing what would be the hillsides. And then when I was walking the dogs, they got a hold of the stick, and I got the stick away from them and looked at it and says, you know what? This looks like the slate or shell rock facings that I saw when I lived in Kansas. You drive down the road and you'd see where they cut into it. I thought, into the hillside, and I thought, you know what? This looks a lot like that. So if I get some plaster or some sheetrock mud and water it down, I know I said I wasn't going to do that, but do it a little bit and spread over this, then that would give me a sealed wood and make it there, and then I can paint it, and maybe I can make it look like the shell rock. So using wood, old bark and break it in half, and if you get this rugged look here, that would work for the rock face. So I framed in the cardboard, and I glued some rock face in to where I thought that would look pretty good. It's time to fill up the trough with water, and I began cutting and laying the plaster cloth over my cardboard shell and started working my way around. And it went from this straight up and down cliff of styrofoam to this nice gentle slope, and already it looks better. Now granted, it's glaring white at me. I'm going to have to get ground cover, and eventually I'm going to have to make a decision. Am I going to do a Western Railroad out west with dirt and sand and sagebrush, or am I going to do something along the eastern coastline where I live now in Virginia with lush trees and foliage and grass? So I like the idea of the desert. Just put sand down, a few bushes here and there, and boom, done. But that just doesn't feel like I'm doing it justice. But there is that. So trying to decide that. So what do you think? Trees and grass, or sand and bushes? So going along well, and then I ran out of my plaster cloth. So this video is coming to a screeching halt. I got to get some more plaster cloth because I didn't get near enough. And I can't remember if I got it at Hobby Lobby, if I got it at Michael's. I don't know where I got it at. But I think I'll go to Amazon, because if I find something I like, I can go back and get it again. And I just remember I got it on Amazon. I can look at the history and get what I need one more time. So this is a start. I've got the plaster cloth up. I've got my trains rail work in place. So until next time, keep on keeping on, and let me know what you think. What methods have you used to make hillsides, and should I go with the desert west or the lush green of the East Coast? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, keep on keeping on.